In a dry Sahel village, where dust floated in the air and the sun shaped every day, lived a woman named Amina. Her home was a small mud house at the edge of the village, surrounded by open land and quiet paths worn smooth by years of walking. Life in the village was never easy, but it was familiar. People rose with the sun, worked until the heat became heavy, and rested only when night came. Amina was part of this rhythm, until one day everything changed. Amina was 32 years old when her husband died on a long journey. The message arrived without ceremony. No crowd. No warning. From that moment, Amina stood alone. She was left with 3 young children, a fragile home, and a future that suddenly felt uncertain. Many expected grief to pour out of her. Many waited to hear complaints, but Amina remained quiet. She did not cry in public. She did not ask why. She did not accuse life. She simply continued. Every morning before the sun climbed high, Amina woke. The village was still asleep, wrapped in silence. The air was cool for a short time, and she used it wisely. She lifted a clay pot onto her head and walked the long, dusty road to the well. The path was familiar, yet never easy. Each step pressed into dry earth, each breath carried effort. The pot grew heavier on the return journey. The sun grew hotter, but her pace remained steady. Back home, Amina swept the ground, gathered firewood, and prepared whatever food she could find. Some days the food was small and thin. Some days it was barely enough for her children. Some days there was nothing. Still, Amina did not complain. Her children watched closely. They noticed how she moved carefully, how she shared food without hesitation, how she placed their needs before her own. They learned from her silence more than words could teach. Amina worked beyond her home to survive. She washed clothes for neighbors, scrubbing until her fingers cracked and burned. She ground millet beneath the open sky, her back bent, her arms aching. She helped on farms that were not hers, working from morning until the sun stood directly above her. The pay was small. The work was heavy. The days were long. Yet she returned home each evening with calm eyes and steady hands. When night came, the village slowed. Fires dimmed. Voices softened. It was then that Amina finally allowed herself to rest. Some nights she sat outside her house, watching the sky darken and stars appear. Other nights she sat alone beneath the moon, listening to the wind pass through dry grass. It was in these moments that her tears came. They came quietly. They came without sound. She wiped them away before morning. To keep her children in school, Amina made sacrifices no one praised. She sold her only good wrapper, the one she had saved for special days. She wrapped herself in old, faded cloth instead. Her dignity did not change. Her children continued learning. They walked long distances to school on dusty roads. They returned tired but focused. When drought came and other children stopped attending, Amina's children remained. She encouraged them gently, not with speeches, but with consistency. She reminded them to rise early, to walk carefully, to respect learning. Her presence was firm and reassuring. At night, under the dim glow of a kerosene lamp, her children studied. Books were worn, pages were fragile. Still, they read. The youngest struggled with letters. The middle child helped patiently. The oldest guided them both. Amina watched from a distance. She did not interrupt. She did not boast. She simply observed. Slowly, the village noticed. The children spoke with clarity. They carried themselves with discipline. Their steps were confident, their eyes alert. Time continued its quiet movement. One day, officials arrived in the village. Their visit drew attention. People gathered, whispering and watching. The officials asked a simple question. They were searching for the parent of the best student in the region. The village grew silent. Eyes moved from one face to another. Then, gradually, they turned toward the edge of the village, toward a small mud house many had passed without notice. It was Amina's home. The same woman they had once ignored. The same woman who never complained. Respect replaced whispers. Heads lowered slightly. A truth became clear without words being spoken. Amina stood calmly. She did not step forward quickly. She did not seek attention. Her children stood beside her, tall and composed. Time passed again. Amina grew older. Her face softened with gentle lines. Her steps slowed, but her presence remained strong. Her home was rebuilt slowly, carefully, as her children grew and became independent. At sunset, Amina often stood outside, watching the village settle into evening. The wind moved her headscarf gently. The land stretched wide and familiar before her. She had endured much. She had spoken little. She had shaped lives quietly. Her strength had never been loud. It had never demanded recognition. It had lived in daily effort, in sacrifice, in patience. Amina's life became a reminder that some victories arrive softly. Some stories are written without noise. Some destinies are built through endurance, not protest. She had never complained. And because of that, her life spoke clearly.